KCJJ, and it is now time for Hawkfanatic, brought to you by Deary Brothers Ford. Hawkeye Title and Settlement with Steve Anderson and his crew. Mike Z. Keys for Cars. GT Car and his crew at Supple's Building and Remodeling. 1-800-800-ROSE. The Midtown Family Restaurants. Harty and Stocker Jewelers in downtown Iowa City. Diamond Dream Sports Academy in North Liberty. Senior Benefits. Premier Automotive. The Oxyoke Inn in the Amanas. Streets Maintenance. Dr. Lance Forbes at Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids. And Big Dog Tech Solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tom Suter and Pat Harty.
It is on a beautiful sunny day.
Turned out to be a nice day, yeah.
Great to see that fiery orb again.
Mid-60s, mid-70s tomorrow.
Perfect.
High near 80 on Wednesday. Looking good. Rest of the week, too. Real mild.
So dry,
yep.
Mostly?
Mm-hmm. Today is the 25th anniversary of Marco's Grilled Cheese. They opened
Seriously?
up today on Cinco de Mayo with their food cart in 2000.
Really?
So, in celebration, they are doing dollar grilled cheese sandwiches all day today.
Really?
Yes.
At Marco's?
Yep. There
Both
you go.
Marco's?
Yep. So there you go.
Wow.
Thought I'd pass that along to you. They
No,
are
that's
our
great.
Sponsor. And I know people love grilled cheese.
I do too.
So how's everything?
Oh, good. Good. Had a good weekend. So much fun at the Carver Hawkeye yesterday. It was really cool.
How was your experience getting parking and getting in line before the game? What time did you get there?
About 45 minutes before.
Yeah, because they were lined up like 2 hours before game time.
Yeah, I don't get that. You already have tickets.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. And that was a close one there for about 45 seconds. I hope you didn't sweat it out too bad.
I think at one point it was like 10 to 8 or something like that, saying, hey, maybe these guys are going to be better than we all thought. And no, they weren't. But
that's not why people were there anyway.
No, it was a really good game.
Good.
I mean, a good day.
Sure.
No, it was not a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah. It was good for the Fever fans.
Oh, yeah. Pat, did you go?
No, Dallas covered it.
Dallas covered it for you?
I watched the first half. I didn't watch the second half. I watched the first half. But yeah, Dallas was there for us.
Well, certainly the game was
was
sealed by the end of the first quarter.
I mean, if you were there, that's different, but I didn't see the point of watching it more on TV in the second half when it was like a 50-point deficit or whatever. I mean, it was just a complete destruction.
It was. The only thing you missed was Caitlin's three-pointer from beyond her.
But I've seen it probably 800 times.
I know.
Yeah, it's not like I missed it. I mean, I've seen it 800 times since it's all over social media.
I still can't believe it went in.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, it's similar to the shot she made to set the record.
Yeah.
I mean, I think 15,000 people would pack Carver, pay money to watch Caitlin ride a stationary bike for 2 hours. I think they would. It's incredible the hold she has on Hawkeye fans.
Hello.
Hello. Didn't they say that was about 36 feet?
That's what they said.
That's what they said.
36.
Yep.
Well, I went to the softball game. I usually go to those things early, so I avoid the crowds. But I went to the softball game, and they won.
I
As soon as that was over with, I headed on up there, and the parking guy said, no parking anywhere. You'll have to go down to Hampshire and get that bus in. And I thought, I don't want to do that. I said, well, what about 46? No, we're all full. I thought, I'm going to drive over by 46. So I went over there, and I could see about 40 parking places. So I pulled up, and I said to the guy, I don't have a pass to come in here, but this is where I go for all the women games. He said, oh, go on in then. So I was lucky I went in there and parked.
Good.
But I should have walked around to the south side because I entered the west, and my seats are on the east.
Yeah, that's
and I couldn't believe the lines for the toilets, the lines for the food, the people that just stood there, and it was like a fish swimming upstream.
Now, if
so I finally got over to my seat, and when everybody around me saw that Caitlin was not going to come in for the fourth quarter, they got up and left. I had the whole area to myself.
Well, there you go.
You know, but you came in the west. If you had gone in to the little beer garden in the west, there was no line for the beer and there's no line for food. It was great.
Wow.
Yeah, my friend said she worked over there.
Yeah, it was. whoever had that idea, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Being outside and it was really cool.
But I tell you, there were tons of, and the people around me didn't have that stupid idea that you have to stand to be a good fan. So they sat and only got up a couple of times. So I really enjoyed the game.
Yeah. Well, of course, it was one of those games where there was absolutely no question. No. Other than,
wasn't the Brazilian girls kind of young?
I don't know, but they're not
very
good.
It looked like a real young team.
They could be, but they're not very good.
Well, and then afterwards, they were so thrilled. They were over there hugging Caitlin, taking pictures with her, getting autographs.
Having her sign their jersey, I thought that was
pretty
really cool.
Yeah.
So in all, it was a nice day, and the softball game was a good game.
Yeah.
So we swept them.
Yeah.
And then we play, Penn State on Wednesday?
Yep, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock? I thought it was 11.
That's Eastern time.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so it'll be 10 o'clock, and all the games will be on the Big Ten Network.
And I have to give the Bible lesson. Why are they? They should know better than to do that when I have to give the Bible lesson.
You would think they'd accommodate you, Karen.
Yeah, you'd think they'd know better. Well, and the sad thing about going over to the game is my sister called me when I was at the softball game and told me that our good friend that we tailgate with and really love died of stomach cancer, and that kind of put a bosh on some of the activities.
I should say, I'm sorry to hear that, Karen.
Yeah. Okay, well, you guys have a good day, and it's too bad it's going to be a wonderful week, and we have no softball and no baseball to go to.
Well, that's the beauty of scheduling.
That's the beauty of the day.
Yep.
Okay, well, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Karen.
Bye, Karen.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the softball team, they're 6th seed in this tournament.
Yeah, well, they did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah, so good.
I was there.
Yeah.
I covered it for
Hawkfanatic. Good crowd?
Yeah. Decent
Not bad?
crowd. Yeah, it was pretty full, and I didn't really write a game, and by the time when I posted my story, they hadn't got the brackets up yet. But yeah, they finished 15-7.
Yep.
35-17. And that was last year after going 6-17 in Big Ten play.
So, considering all the stuff that happened off the field, it's
one of the
amazing.
best. I said, other than Dr. Tom's 92-93 Chris Street season coaching, this is the best I've seen an Iowa coach do for a single season.
That's astounding.
Under the circumstances. You can never replace what Dr. Tom did. That's always going to be. Because as bad as everything the softball teams had to go through, when you're dealing with death of a teammate and what have you, that just that just rises above everything else as far as tragedy and adversity. Sure. But no, this has been an incredible season. Sports Illustrated has a weird article out about Iowa softball that I was reading yesterday, and I let Iowa know. It just throws Renee Gillespie and Beth Getz under the bus.
Why?
And blames them for. It's more stuff from this Brian Levin guy.
Oh.
It's his basically saying that he asked to be transferred. He wanted to save the Iowa softball culture because it was toxic, and he knew he couldn't do it. And then I'm going to call the story up, and it's just a weird story, and it's got emails from Levin. Levin obviously gave Sports Illustrated and the Daily Iowan all his email conversations with Getz, because it refers to, but it doesn't. I don't believe it quotes anybody other than, and it calls the emails cryptic, and it's just weird. And it says shady. That basically this story is saying that they got rid of Renee Gillespie for more reasons than just health, but then it doesn't. It's just a really weird.
Well, where's
story.
their information there?
Call it up. And it's just a weird story.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but it's suggesting, like, it seems to all go back to this same thing of Brian Levin being treated unfairly, and he was trying to fix the noble guy, trying to fix a toxic culture. Softball program's done pretty well without him.
I think the softball program has done great without him.
And they don't all those girls don't all agree on the same cultural and political.
No.
That's what I wrote about. They don't all. Most of them don't kneel during the end, but somehow they figured out a way to make it work. And now you got a lot of people on the outside telling them how they should behave and what they should do. You can have your opinion about the national anthem, whether you should kneel or not. It still doesn't change what they've accomplished.
No, it doesn't. And I sure hope the interim coach gets an interview.
Well, I said he deserves to. What I wrote in my story today was that if some super candidate emerges whose credentials are just unmatched, sure, you hire that person.
Yeah.
But Carl Golan deserves serious consideration for this job, what he's done. And he's got a ton. He was the pitching coach at Mississippi last year. They did great under him. He was a coach at Augustana, 25 years in softball in the New Zealand. So he was a former star softball player. I mean, he's easily. And he spent this whole year auditioning for the job.
Yeah.
He's got that advantage. Let me see. Just softballs. And I let Iowa know about it. And, the person I let know actually has a meeting with Beth Getz today at 1. Was going to let her. It just seemed like a weird article, and it's just more of this Brian Levin just, talking and let's see. Yeah, Iowa softball's coaching controversy runs deeper than medical leave. Okay, here we go. The University of Iowa is searching for its fourth softball coach in nearly a year. At least that is what Director of Athletics Beth Getz stated in a press release Tuesday afternoon when she announced the departure of Renee Gillespie due to medical reasons. The coaching controversy in Iowa City began long before the three players decided to take a knee during the national anthem in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It also goes back well before the athletic department announced Gillespie's medical leave in December 2024. On May 31st, 2024, former interim head coach Brian Levin was just an assistant at the time, felt something was wrong within the program, and reached out to Senior Associate Athletics Director Suzanne Hellman. In the email, Levin asked for a meeting to discuss taking another job. I would like to discuss a possible future on the administrative side of the athletic department, Levin wrote. In an exclusive interview with Softball on SI and the Daily Iowan, Levin said he wanted to transition to another job within the athletic department because of the softball program's toxic culture. Okay. Unfortunately, there wasn't anything else available, but things began to change when Levin reached out to Getz on December 6, 2024. Several players met with the athletics department to discuss the culture that was created under Gillespie. To be honest, it was a weight off my shoulders because they asked me to be a spokesperson for them, which put me in a very delicate situation, writes Levin. Their frustrations and feeling are valid, and I don't disagree with concerns they have expressed to me that they believe are an obstacle in the progress of the program. I am around Renee much more than the players, and I feel they or the administration may not be aware of what I worry are underlying factors to her leadership. Roughly 4 hours later, Getz responded to Levin, telling him this is a helpful perspective, and I will back out to schedule a follow-up conversation next week. Before Getz had a chance to follow up, Levin had to reach out because the team was being kept in the dark with details regarding Gillespie. On December 12th, 2020. Levin sent another email. According to them, they were told that they would get an update on Monday of this week and received no correspondence. They may have interpreted that timeline incorrectly, but that is what they articulated to me. To ensure I can provide accurate information and help address their concerns effectively, I would like to ask the following. Are there any updates stemming from the meeting that I can share with the team? Should this be done via direct update from me, or would you prefer to address the team personally? Getz responded, telling Levin she wanted to meet with him the following morning on December 17th. Gillespie was placed on medical leave, and Levin was named interim head coach. On March 7th, 2025, Levin was terminated, and Carl Golan was named acting head coach. Levin tried to change the culture before he was tagged with the interim title, but there were secrets and shadiness going on behind the scenes above him that prevented him from doing much of anything. He had the support of players and colleagues with text messages backing it up. For example, Levin didn't want every student athlete to travel and specifically asked administration for this to be put in place. He mentioned 3 players who he asked to remain anonymous to stay behind, and those 3 began kneeling for the anthem. Following Levin's firing in March, those same 3 players didn't travel. There is plenty of blame to go around, but the responsibility of the program ultimately falls on the administration, and judging from the cryptic emails, Getz is hiding more than what has been made public. I mean,
it's nonsense.
That is one of the... That's Sports Illustrated.
That's a bad article.
It doesn't. What were the shady emails?
Well,
it's sympathizing with this Brian Levin guy like he's the victim in this case. And what did Iowa really do wrong? I don't get it. Am I missing something? There's no.
Well, clearly, either they're just guessing at something or they're just trying to get, to create controversy.
But I don't know. They use the word shady.
I know, but
I don't get that.
Well, they certainly didn't spell it out in the story.
Yeah, I mean, for for any media, but that's sport. Now,
No,
Sports Illustrated
that's
isn't what
weak.
Sports Illustrated
No.
isn't what it used to be. That's hanging by a thread.
No, that's weak.
Like but that and like I said, hey, I'm as objective. I'd like to believe I'm as objective as you can be when it comes to Hawkeye athletics. I mean, I've written lots of things that aren't favorable to Iowa if they deserve it, but this seemed like a hatchet job. This just seemed like somebody looking for there was no balance to this story. Why didn't they interview Getz and say, okay, we're getting ready to call some of these emails that you sent us shady? I mean,
Well, how do you respond to that?
I don't know.
Obviously she wasn't given the opportunity.
No, they never interviewed. I just don't get the purpose of that. That's the story Sports Illustrated wrote when it was announced a week ago that Gillespie wasn't. And poor Renee Gillespie, they just throw her under the bus.
No, that was terrible.
I mean, she's supposedly dealing with a medical issue. They basically just say Brian Levin, the noble warrior, was going to try to save this toxic culture that apparently existed under Renee Gillespie. And they don't get anybody. I don't know what Renee's physical condition is now, but doesn't make any effort to talk to anybody representing her. There's no balance to this thing. It's just a weird story. But Getz was going to be made aware. And what's funny is I talked to a UI official last night. They had not heard of this story, so that shows you it didn't really have much of an impact. But regardless how you feel about any of that stuff, this team has accomplished a lot under really tough circumstances. And I'm wondering if Brian Levin right now is surprised by how well this team has played without his great leadership.
I think he's probably pissed.
I bet he probably is.
Yep.
I think he thought, and I think a lot of people thought this season was going to unravel because you've got woke versus patriotism, and they figured out a way to make it work. You know, they seem like a pretty close-knit group.
Because they came together.
They came together, and like Carl Golan said afterwards, he's like, the record and everything, everyone makes this comes down to us executing softball plays moment after moment, just staying within that bubble and playing softball. That's what this is all about. All that other stuff you can't deal. It's happened. You got to live in the moment and play softball. And that's a simple answer, but it's the right answer.
It is the correct
answer. It'll be
answer.
interesting to see, though, when I reach out to Iowa later to see and the other thing, Getz can't comment on stuff like Renee Gillespie's situation publicly. She can't comment on the specifics of Brian Levin being let go because she's restricted from doing that because of privacy rules. And so she's really in a tough situation. But to me, that was just not a good story by Sports Illustrated.
It's not a well-written story. It's slanted.
Well, it's completely slanted. It's basically just more of Brian Levin accusing everybody of being the problem, and they refused to let him fix it, and they made him go away. That's basically the way this thing is being portrayed, and I don't get it.
Well, his behavior was unprofessional.
What do you mean?
Lashing out at the players and saying he was done in the middle of a game out of town and everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, he stood for what he believed, but Iowa said, fine, that's fine, but that's not going to work with us. You're gone.
Yeah.
And more power to him. I mean, and I'll tell you, Carl Golan has really, for that team to be 35-17 and 15-7, think about that.
It's incredible.
It really is incredible.
Well, and didn't you write that he's really good at distilling things down?
Yes, he keeps everything very simple. And that's what the players have all said, too.
Yeah.
He keeps things incredibly simple, and I love his New Zealand accent. I mean, he's got a heavy New Zealand accent. He does. He sounds like Crocodile Dundee, even though I know he was from Arkansas, Australia.
Yeah.
But no, he's done a hell of a job. Assistant coach Sammy Diaz. Like I said, I think a lot of people thought this team was going to fail, and I think there were going to be some people who would have enjoyed watching them fail. They were waiting for them to fail.
And they didn't.
Because when that kneeling story came out, there was a lot of Hawkeye fans even that were against this team, and to me, I'm whatever on that stuff. I've said before, I stand during the anthem, and I always will.
That's your choice.
And that's my choice, but I'm not going to tell other people what they should do.
And you should.
We have way too much people in this country telling others how they should do things.
Will on other people.
Forcing their will and their beliefs on other people. It's way too much of that crap going on.
Completely.
Well, they're coming into the tournament riding high, and Penn State is their first opponent. If they win, they'll play number 3 Nebraska, who has a bye. That's the next.
Yeah, and they beat Nebraska already once this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost the series, but they did win one of 3 games, I believe. So, no, they've shown that they can be competitive. I do believe they need to probably win. They may need to get to the championship to make the NCAA tournament.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their RPI is right now, but
I don't know.
But their baseball's in a little baseball. Yeah, it was too bad they lost the series. At least they avoided the sweep.
Yeah,
but
UCLA didn't do what they needed to do either. They lost their last two.
No, I know they did, and Iowa's back in first place. But I'm worried for Iowa that they're going to have to win. I think the regular season or the Big Ten tournament unless they run the table these last 7 games, which I don't think they're going to do because their RPI is so low.
It is terrible.
It's in the 70s, isn't it?
So but that's ridiculous.
Well, the problem is, though, Tom, they haven't really beaten anybody that's. No. I mean, Michigan's under 500 now. They haven't really beaten anyone.
Well, no, they haven't, and they're not.
Indiana's really not as good as they've been in the past. And then they get their first team with a good winning conference record, and they lose 2 out of 3. That's the problem. Now, if they need to win 2 out of 3 in this Oregon State series, but that's going to be a tall order, man.
Well, I think that would do great things for their RPI.
It would help their RPI. Obviously, it wouldn't do anything for the Big Ten. No. I read UCLA still has to play Illinois and Northwestern. Neither one of those teams are horrible, but they're not good either.
Not great.
Illinois is like average, aren't they?
12-12.
Yeah, that's about as average as you can get.
Yep.
And so UCLA, my guess is they will probably win both. But you never know. Baseball's so bizarre.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Well, they're playing in great venues this week. They get to play in that really cool stadium up in Chicago Wednesday, and then of course they're playing in the
Principal Park.
Principal Park on the weekend.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of crowd they draw this weekend for those games because hopefully the weather will hold out. Because Oregon State, last I saw, is ranked 7th. They've been a power for years.
Yeah, they have.
And Oregon, of course, I think they're ranked 6th, and so we'll see. But Iowa, unlike Oregon and UCLA, those teams they're in. They're in the NCAA tournament. Their RPIs are so high. And what's funny is they're behind Iowa in the conference standings, and yet they're in the NCAA tournament pretty much.
And we have almost as many wins as they do.
I know.
32, UCLA has 34, Oregon has 33, USC has 32.
Iowa's RPI is in the 70s, and Oregon's ranked 6th. Think about that.
I know.
It's crazy.
Their non-conference must have just been lights out.
It must have been. I haven't seen it. And but no, Iowa's still up by a game and a half in the conference standings. UCLA's got 7 losses. Iowa has 6.
Iowa's up by 2.
2, okay. So that Oregon series is going to pretty much decide it.
And over Oregon, we're 3.5 up on Oregon.
Now, that can change because Oregon and UCLA, of course.
And we have to play Oregon.
Well, they have 6 games left. Iowa only has 3
That's
left.
right.
Yeah, because Iowa's getting the bye week this week. So, there's a lot. Those teams could play themselves into the conference title or play themselves out here in these next 2 weeks, whereas Iowa, of course, is going to have 3 games that can help its RPI or hurt its RPI, but it's not going to do anything to conference play.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun, though. It'll be interesting to see how many people do show up for those games. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think the Friday game, is it a night start?
Is it in Des Moines, you mean?
Yeah, in Des Moines. Did the Friday game start at 6?
6:35.
Yep,
okay.
3:35 on Saturday and 1:05 on Sunday.
Okay, those are good. Those are all good
And the
times.
weather's supposed to be perfect.
Great. No, that's going to be a great way to promote college baseball in Des Moines. Great park. I remember pitching there years ago. We used to.
No kidding.
Every once in a while, Dowling would play. We'd play either, and we played a couple Legion games there one time too. But I remember back then they had the fence it was like aluminum or something, because anytime a ball would hit off the fence, you could hear it
clang,
really loud and what have you. But yeah, I remember we did. I can't remember the situations, but we did play a couple games at. Of course, back then it was called Taylor Stadium. That was always cool, stepping out on that mound. But yeah, that'll be a neat experience for both teams, and that's big-time baseball. Iowa's playing against one of the best in the country, and they got a chance to show. Now, are any of those on the Big Ten Network? Please tell me at least one is.
You would think, but they're all being streamed because, well, first of all, the softball tournaments on the Big Ten Network. All right.
Sometimes the Big Ten Network, like the other day, they had so many choices, and they had UCLA playing a terrible team in softball, and it was like 10-0. And some of their choices, I don't know, their scheduling, it doesn't make any sense. Sometimes, but I know they got to try to get they want to try to get them all in. I get all that, because it is the feel-good network. The Big Ten Network they rarely do they criticize. They're pretty pro, and I get it. They have to be. Sometimes their analysts will take some shots and what have you, but for the most part, they're pretty pro conference.
I was watching some of the Saturday baseball game and on BTN Plus. Tried to watch it on my TV, and for some reason it just said, this doesn't work because of error 401. But on my computer it was perfect.
That's crazy.
It just doesn't make any sense. It's the same account.
Yeah.
Did they black it out? No, they can't.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Every time I saw highlights from the Washington series, there was nobody in the stands.
No.
I mean, they were empty.
Terrible crowd.
I mean, hardly anybody there. And it's not like that team is bad.
No, but in the setting is just beautiful. You see the boats in the background.
Yeah, it is really sharp.
But I looked, and they'd show, like, behind the home plate, nobody. They'd show a shot going down the first base line. You'd maybe see 5 people. It looked like there was maybe a couple hundred people in the stands.
Yeah.
And that would get depressing after a while.
Yeah,
I mean, Iowa,
not good.
They're drawing, and softball drew pretty well yesterday. Baseball's been drawing great this year, and I know that series with Oregon is going to be packed. They may even have to even add some bleachers for that game, and I'm going to cover at least 2 of those games.
Well, especially if it matters.
Oh, it's going to matter. It's going to matter.
Oregon goes 0-6.
Well, we still got UCLA.
Well,
I mean,
that's true.
Iowa's going to have to, UCLA's right. They're actually ahead of Oregon, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's going to matter big time because if UCLA's the team that Iowa's got to worry about before they worry about Oregon because UCLA's standing in the way between Iowa and Oregon. So, no, it's going to matter because these next 4 games that Iowa plays has nothing to do with Big Ten standings. Oh. And so, but yeah, there's going to be a lot on the line. Iowa could be playing for a Big Ten regular season title and could be playing for an NCAA tournament berth at the same time, which is kind of bizarre. I still think if they finish second or third, they're going to get in. But
you would like to think.
But you can't ignore the RPI. It is so low.
No.
And that does carry a lot of weight. Some say it carries too much weight when picking this stuff. But if they finish second, like a half a game behind UCLA or something, they deserve to be in the NCAA tournament, I think. Is it 64 teams in the baseball, I believe it is?
I think
that's what it is. I think they would deserve it. But, again, you don't get a lot of benefit by playing in the Big Ten because Big Ten baseball is sort of like Mountain West basketball, if that makes any sense, or Mountain West, it really is, or Mid-America Conference football. That's kind of what Big Ten baseball is.
No, you're not wrong.
And that's the problem Iowa has when these midweek games, they can't afford to lose Wednesday, man. They got to win that game. And I don't know, do we know Illinois Chicago's record?
No, but didn't they beat us earlier?
No, I thought it was Illinois State that beat us.
Oh, maybe it was.
In Western Illinois, I know one was Western Illinois. But these games,
well, we haven't been playing well in them, that's for sure.
No, this is Illinois-Chicago, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought they played them already once earlier this year and beat them.
Too.
And I think they beat them earlier in the year. But, again, it's baseball. It's strange. I mean, Obermuller was rolling the other day, and then he gets to the 5th inning and he can't throw strikes.
Yeah.
It just shows you how quickly it can change.
Well, should we take our break?
We can.
And then we'll be back with more discussion of Hawkeye stuff and maybe some digression. Who knows?
Hawkfanatic on the Mighty 1630 KCJJ.
Your life is always changing, and a lot of things can affect how and what you save. So a good retirement plan changes with your life. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. So start a conversation today. Wells Fargo Advisors. Together, we'll go far. For information locally, call 338-3799 or 866-217-2369 or stop by 501 12th Avenue, Suite 201, Coralville. Wells Fargo Advisors, LLC, member SIPC.
GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit supples.net or call them today at 319-337-2246.
The Oxyoke Inn is ready to serve you with the same fresh food, prepared to order and served with a passion that you've come to expect since 1940. Serving our famous Sunday brunch buffet with lunch, dinner, family-style banquets, and carry-out daily. Reservations are easy at oxyokin.com or call for big or small tables and private rooms. We can't wait to serve you soon at the Oxyokin. The Oxyokin. In the heart of Amana.
Don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's eKeys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's eKeys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's eKeys for Cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 today.
Don't let just anyone take care of your smile. At Diamond Dental, you can expect compassion, expertise, and a personalized care plan to protect your teeth for life. With more than 30 years of combined experience, Dr. Forbes and his staff are prepared to tackle even your toughest dental problems, leaving your smile healthy and sparkling. Diamond Dental offers a full range of general and cosmetic dentistry, as well as dental treatment options for snoring and sleep apnea. It's never too early to start thinking about what's best for your smile. Schedule an appointment today by calling 319-390-3703 or visiting the office at 5815 Consul Street Northeast, Suite D1 in Cedar Rapids. You can also visit DiamondDentalPC.com for more information. Dr. Forbes is a proud sponsor of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and the Inner Circle. Let the Diamond Dental team provide superior care for your entire family.
This is Leah Pasha, and I've been saying, hit a deer, call Premier for years. But it's time for something new. It's still where you need to go for deer divots and door dings, as well as damaged dashboards. That's what my dad Nathan's driving at and dreams about. Why not say, when your car is dinged, be a deer and call Premier? I think Dad's going to love that. Premier Automotive, North Liberty's premier auto body repair shop.
Be a deer and call Premier Auto Body in North Liberty. You take great care to maintain your home or business inside and out. But maybe, just maybe, there's something missing. Something that makes your home stand out among the others in your neighborhood. Something that makes your business pop and increases traffic. Something that you can change and customize at your command. Well, there's a solution, and that's Illuminlight's permanent outdoor lighting from Big Dog Tech. Illuminlights provides illumination for every occasion. Holiday lighting, accent lights, security, and of course lighting for all your favorite sports. The Illuminlights app lets you create your own patterns with color, motion, brightness, and static control over every individual light, or use Big Dog's presets to transform your home or business. The professionally installed track system makes Illuminlight's LEDs virtually disappear until you turn them on. Rated at 50,000 hours, you'll enjoy stress-free convenience for years to come. For more information about Illuminlight's permanent outdoor lighting, go to BigDogTEK.net or give them a call at 319-395-0800. That's 319-395-0800.
Check out the best source for your Iowa City area high school sports coverage. Go to YourPrepSports.com. Hi, this is Pat Harty. City High, West High, Liberty High, Regina, West Branch, Solon, Clear Creek, Amanic. Your Prep Sports has all the boys and girls high school sports you crave. You'll get free, in-depth reporting from dedicated sports journalists on your favorite teams: football, basketball, golf, volleyball, track, softball, and baseball seasons. Profiles, pictures, video, and more. Get in on the action. Go to YourPrepSports.com today and spread the word.
There's a problem here in eastern Iowa. There's not enough Hawkeye fans. I mean, really, shouldn't everybody be a Hawkeye fan? Well, maybe not, but you should be a fan of my team at Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Hi, I'm Steve Anderson, and my team of experts at Hawkeye Title and Settlement know what they're doing. Call us at 351-8600. Hawkeye Title and Settlement, the team you love, the people you trust.
1-800-800-ROSE. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country. 1-800-800-ROSE. It's so easy. Just remember one number. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist. 1-800-800-ROSE. Remember.
From the Harty and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Harty and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
Mostly cloudy this morning, becoming partly cloudy by later this afternoon. Our high today, 65, with wind out of the northeast at 5 to 15. Tonight, mostly clear. We'll drop to 46 for a low. Tomorrow, sunny and warmer. 74 on Wednesday. Sunshine, 76. We're going to stay mostly sunny and fairly mild in the 70s here through most of the week, the weekend, and into next week. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the Mighty 1630 KCJJ. Right now, it's 57.
KCJJ weather brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
And we are back with Hawkfanatic with Pat Harty and Tom Suter here on the Mighty 1630 KCJJ. Part 2 of our program begins presently. As Mr. Suter.
I lost my water.
Oh. Glad you found it.
I didn't find it.
Oh, really? Well, you just filled up.
I know.
Okay.
That's the problem.
I see. A little absent. Yeah, it happens. Comes with age.
Oh, no, I would have done that at age 20, too. No, that's...
Scattered sometimes?
That's me.
That's
yeah.
you? Okay. All right. So we were talking about the baseball team and their need to perform well in the last games of the regular season to possibly get a berth in the the NCAA tournament. Of course,
right.
They will be in the Big Ten tournament for sure.
For sure. So now the softball, they play Penn State. When was that? Wednesday?
Yeah.
In the morning, right?
Right. It's a 10 a.m. start.
Jesus.
And where's it? In West Lafayette?
They're playing at Purdue, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then tomorrow, Thursday at the same time, if they win, they'll play Nebraska. They're in the same pod as like UCLA, so the championship game, I think, well, I've got it right here. Might as well check it out. Championship game is Saturday at 3 o'clock. So,
all right.
And then the semifinal games are at 5 and 7:30 on Friday night. So those will be a little easier for people to see if that we get that.
Yeah, at 10 in the morning. We're going to be on the air with this show on Wednesday.
You guys get the Big Ten Network out here?
I believe we do.
Yeah, we can have it on.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the Hawkeye guest is this week. My guess is it won't be anybody on the softball team since they'll
be playing.
Since they'll be that'd be crazy if we had someone. They do it with pro baseball now. They interview. Hell, they interviewed.
God, I hate that.
I do too.
They interviewed a shortstop the other day. I was just, it's just bizarre.
And they used to interview them when they were like in the dugout, waiting to bat or something.
Well,
like that.
is
now they mic them up while they're out in the field.
Yeah. See, I just think that's ridiculous.
It's just too much.
It is. And the manager's trying to manage, and they're talking to him.
I wonder if they're going to start someday doing that with like football and NBA basketball players. Imagine some wide receiver, he's talking as he's running around. Next thing you know, he's laid out with a blindside hit and what have you. I just when is enough as far as just.
Well, it's too much already.
And these in-game interviews, I know I sound like a broken record, but they're so painful.
See, and also like some of the college football games, they have 4 different feeds.
Right.
And it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I know the people like Holly Rowe play an important role. I get it. But I just don't need to hear from so many people during the course of a game. They're talking. It's just nonstop. But that sideline reporter has really become a big part of it now.
Yes.
It seems like getting as many in-game hits as you can is the way to go now. So they must be getting positive feedback from some people on that. Now, I didn't mind, Holly Rowe went down and found the Clark family in the stands during like a timeout or whatever. That was, that was kind of an interesting. Yeah. Although we've heard from Caitlin's parents so much now, we know their answers. But for people that hadn't, like I said, I don't need to hear from a player like during a timeout in a huddle. It's crazy.
It was good to see Gabby Marshall there.
Yeah, and Sida Fulter was there, and Kylie Feuerbach and Jada Gimphy was there, and.
Kylie had a fever jersey.
Did she?
I'm guessing most of the Iowa players were probably there.
Yeah.
Well, and she mentioned in the post game that they went out to dinner. A lot of her and her friends went out to dinner Saturday night. So that was kind of cool that she got some time with her Iowa friends.
Think Caitlin picked up the tab?
She might have.
I wonder where they went.
I don't know.
Tommy said that now that they've all got out of school, they would sometimes have the private room at the Summit.
Oh,
so they may have gone there.
I didn't even know there was a private room.
I didn't either.
I can't remember the last time. I thought the Summit was more of a. Is that a restaurant? I thought it was more of a get your jive on.
Well, it's that too, but
so you can eat good food and get your jive on at the same time.
I don't know how good the food is, but yeah.
How about the jive?
Don't know about the Jive either.
We haven't checked out the Jive in a long time.
Okay, yeah, I didn't
No,
realize.
I've been taken for 45 years. So.
Yeah, so-
I didn't realize the Summit, though, had, like, dinner food and what have you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've ever had it?
I don't think so. I don't think I have.
And is the airliner still the airliner?
Yeah, and their pizza's real good.
Still, and who owns it now?
Great burgers, too.
That I don't know.
Because remember when Randy and Brad Lohaus owned it?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, their pizza is good, and I haven't had it for ages.
Yeah, it's real good. And
Do you ever get it anymore?
When they have some of the Taste of Iowa City things.
If you're downtown?
If we are downtown, then I'll grab a piece of their pizza, and it's real good.
We've stopped and eaten there, like, during the Arts Fest or the Jazz Fest.
Yeah.
During the break, because they, like, in the afternoon, they do sound checks, and then there's, like, an hour and a half where there's nothing, so it's a good
When
time.
there's the festivals and stuff, I like to hit the street vendors if I can.
Sure.
I see Hy-Vee's promote. They're going to have Chuck Ford's big-ass turkey legs one of these days coming up this week from, like, starting at 11 o'clock to whenever they run out.
Really?
They're going to be selling those things. And I may have to get one of those. I haven't had one of those. Have you ever had one?
Yeah, I hate to say it. I am not a fan.
You're not a fan of the just
turkey legs in general?
Well, just the taste or what?
The taste. No, I thought it was nasty.
There's a lot of bone in it.
Because people love them.
Yeah,
it was nasty.
I enjoy them, but they're a difficult eat.
I'm not sure if I've ever had one in Iowa because he became pretty famous.
No, people love him.
We wrote a story about him. He used to work at West Branch Ford, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And we wrote a story about him at the Press Citizen about his big ass turkey legs because they became kind of an institution.
And Chuck's at Hy-Vee now.
Yeah, he's at Hy-Vee. He does. I talked to him. He said he got just bored, retired. He had to do something.
Yeah.
So he runs where you get samples. Mm-hmm. And I saw him the other day cooking fajitas and stuff and getting them ready for samples.
Oh, cool.
That's cool, though. If you don't want to just sit at home and you want to keep doing stuff, hey, more power to you.
He's a good guy.
Hello.
Hey, dudes.
Hey.
Hey, so the airliner is owned by the original airliner family, the Ranella family.
Okay.
So they opened it in the 40s. Then I want to say in the 80s they sold it to somebody else. Then, of course, it was Lohaus and Larson for a while. And then when Larson backed out, then the Ranellas took it back over. But they own the main building where it's straight up and down, the upstairs and downstairs, and then they rent the annex where the bathrooms and the extra dining room is.
So they run the restaurant as well?
Yeah. Yeah, the original owners are back in charge.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks,
Later.
dude.
Yeah, I may have to go down and get their. Like I said, I
don't
think I've had their pizza since the 90s.
It's very good.
Because we used to have, like, the press, we'd have staff meetings down there sometimes and what have you, because, a lot has changed.
Boy, that's for sure.
But, yeah, and I used to like what else were they known for besides pizza?
I thought their burgers were outstanding.
Good-looking waitresses.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we sound like three creepy old
They got
men.
they got a nice outdoor patio there now.
They do.
Yeah. So.
And it's right there, isn't it right there by Pancheros and...
Yeah, it's right in that area.
The UI bookstore's right in that little area. The Summit's right there, isn't it? Is the Summit next door to the airliner almost?
If it's not, there's maybe one or two places between. But yeah, they're real close. Yeah.
God, I haven't been down there. I haven't been down there walking for so long. It's amazing when you move away a little bit. But no, I'm going to make a point. Like I said, I haven't had good airliner pizza in a while. They don't deliver anything, do they?
I don't know. I'll bet they go through Chomp.
Chomp, yeah.
Probably.
I'll bet they do.
I think to get airliner, you got to experience it by going down there.
I
agree.
To agree with you.
No, but it's
been so long. Is it thin crust pizza? How would you describe their pizza?
Thinnish.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Greg Morris, they have like one day a week where they have half-price pizzas. I would like to think that it's Tuesday, but Greg Morris posts on Facebook sometimes about it, and it always just looks so good.
Half-price pizza, man. You can't beat that.
No.
Tuesdays, that's competition for Taco
I
Tuesday.
think it's Tuesday. I could be wrong about that.
Because I always get tacos on Tuesday because you can get them at a lot of different places for like $1 or $1.50 at the most.
Well, it's Cinco de Mayo today, so You can. I'm sure there's a lot of Mexican restaurants with specials today.
By God, it is Cinco de Mayo.
It is.
That's right.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about
Drinko de Mayo.
You going to celebrate it?
I don't know. Maybe. We haven't discussed it.
I forgot.
I can always
I didn't realize it was Cinco de Mayo until it was just told to me.
Or I can wait till tomorrow and get $1 tacos or $1.25 tacos places.
There you go. Sure.
If I'm in the mood for tacos, I'll spend the extra couple bucks. And...
Yeah, I don't need a Tuesday to eat tacos.
No, not at all.
Wow, I just had somebody reach out to me. You captured how much a difference could occur. Did you know that after a sweep of Rutgers, he had to announce to his team that he will not be considered for the Iowa job? That is the story you need to dig into. Interesting.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously he's not going to share that with the media that he just announced that he's not going to be considered for the Iowa job. But I would like to get a
reason
explanation from Iowa. But the problem is they never talk about this stuff publicly because job searches.
The person no matter.
But no, I will reach out to Iowa to see what this person.
Well, that's too bad.
I
think
too
he's
bad.
done a good job.
Well,
I understand that they have to do a bigger search.
Oh,
I get it.
Yeah, and I wasn't saying he deserves the job. I was saying he deserves at least to be a candidate.
At least deserves consideration.
But it doesn't even sound like he's going to get that. And it's just, I don't know, it's weird. And then the Sports Illustrated story on top of that, just this whole thing is just kind of bizarre. But if Getz is confident that she can get somebody who's more confident, that's her, more power to her. That is her prerogative as the AD, and so we'll just have to wait and see. Because I do think softball is a program you want playing well. It's a program.
Sure.
If softball's doing well, that place is alive. They got a great facility.
It's a
fun
great
sport.
facility.
It is.
And when Gail was here, that place was always packed.
It was.
Hello.
Hey, dude.
Hey.
I'm sorry, Hunter. I do not want to get banned like Paul. I wanted to say, Pat, one thing I always agree with you on is that Gail Blevins ran an exceptional program.
Yep.
For all those years. She is sorely missed.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, that's one.
Hadn't been back since.
Gary didn't handle that one well at all.
Nope.
So I think I'm going to call her wife Ann and talk about how much we dearly miss her.
Oh, there
you go.
I'd love to get Gail on the radio, but I've never wanted to put her in a tough spot or having to say no if she didn't want to. Because, I wouldn't get her on and grill her about what happened.
No.
But I'd love to get her on just because I've always been so impressed with her as a coach and a person. If you know any way to help us with that, let me know.
Okay.
All right.
I've known him since I was 5 years old, so I don't have a problem.
Gail, remember. I covered a lot of Iowa's. That was during there was no football during. I covered Iowa football and Iowa men's basketball and Iowa softball. I did that a lot during the 2000s and what have you, and always enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, Ann was one of my heroes when I was a little kid. She would bring in her alumni magazines from the University of Indiana, Indiana University. Just because I was so enamored with Bobby Knight.
Oh, okay. But yeah, if you can help in that, we'd love to have her on.
I'll reach out to Ann and Gail and see what they say.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, thanks. Later.
Yep.
Yeah, Gail's she was
Call back anytime.
She was so meticulous with her approach.
But you're on the
everything.
clock.
Everything with Gail was down to the second. Organization, leadership. She did it all.
Yeah,
I just didn't.
She had it going on.
And then they hired Marla Looper to replace her, and I think Marla had been a pitcher.
Was awful.
And it was 8 years of just nothing. It was just a complete.
Why did they keep her so long?
It was just a complete demise of the South. I don't know why they kept her so long, and it was a bad hire. No knock on Marla, nothing personal, but it just didn't work. They gave her plenty of time and just dug a hole that they're still. And I thought when they hired Gillespie, it looked like a decent hire. And they've shown some life at times. They won that one tournament that didn't mean a lot, but it was something. But now you wonder what the hell's going on.
And they've showed some life this year.
Well, yeah, under an interim head coach who had just entered the program in his first year as the pitching coach. So yeah, lots of going. It'll be interesting to see who actually gets this job. If Golan's not even being considered for the job, they must think that they're going to get some really good candidates.
And maybe they've already gotten them.
Well, maybe they did, but I did. You know, they were a national power when they hired Marla Looper.
Yeah.
And Marla Looper, I don't think had even been a head coach at that time.
She was an epic fail.
She was. I actually see her at Hy-Vee. I think she still lives in town.
Did she?
I saw her in Hy-Vee a couple of years ago. And that was obviously a couple of years ago, but yeah, that was just a colossal failure by Gary. One of his worst decisions. Just the way he handled the whole Gale transition and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this thing from this person on Twitter that reached out, that's interesting. I will have to reach out to Iowa and see if I get anything from Iowa. Because, if he's not even being considered, I don't understand that. And it's interesting that he waited till maybe he just found out that he wasn't being considered.
Maybe so.
But Iowa's got to do what they feel is in the best interest of the program, and that's what Beth is going to do. And if I don't see eye to eye with it, that doesn't mean what they're doing is wrong.
No.
I mean, I could be wrong. But I just think the proof's in the pudding with Carl Golan. What he's done in this one season, I mean, it's been incredible. The way he's brought this team together.
Win-loss record says it.
Now I wonder if they hire a coach who's got more credentials. Maybe that coach would keep Carl as the pitching coach. Maybe that's something that could happen. You still keep him here. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see. And this is the kind of thing where if you're Iowa, you got to get a coach hired. Every day you waste is time not recruiting, time not in the portal, and what have you. And so it'll be interesting to see how far after the season it takes for them to actually hire someone. And better hope it's right, because we saw with Blevins to Looper how quickly it can change. I mean, it was hell. We saw that with Licklider.
Yeah.
How quickly it can change. I mean, it can change just like that. Well, look at football.
Well, Gable to Jimmy Zaleski it took a while.
Jimmy won 3 or 4 national, but eventually that all wore off, and they were, by Iowa's wrestling standards, they were mediocre by the end of his run. Yeah. And now the worry is that that's what's happening with the Branches.
I will say I hadn't seen Iowa wrestle for a number of years during Jimmy Zaleski's tenure, and then we hosted the NCAAs here, and I was astounded by how passive the Iowa wrestling program had become. Because Gable's wrestlers were always so aggressive.
Yeah, they were.
And
Jimmy was one of them.
Yes, he was.
One of the best ones.
But, boy, we were passive and playing at the edge of the mat and stuff.
But they've been accused of that under the Branches at times, too. And that's ironic, too, because the Branches were the ultimate attack warriors. They never quit.
Were.
And you've heard Tom, usually when his frustration's at its highest is when his guys aren't aggressive. You hear him all the time. We've got bonus points. You got to go for points. The Branches never quit. They were just nonstop trying to kill you. They were trying to rip your heart out and just destroy you on that mat, that's what you want everybody's mindset to be. Mm-hmm. And the frustration when you're someone like Tom Brands, one of the greatest wrestlers ever, the guys you're coaching aren't going to be as good as you. More time, other than maybe a Spencer Lee. There's a few that are as good, but most of them, that's why I think sometimes star players like Magic Johnson, they're not good head coaches because they just can't deal with the fact that others can't do it as well as they did.
And a lot of it came naturally
to them.
Yes,
a lot of it came naturally, yes, without question.
You would think Ted Williams would have been an outstanding manager, and he was not.
Oh, he was not, no. Yeah.
Billy Martin, who was a scrapper, though, he was pretty good.
He was.
Don Zimmer.
Fired. And rehired, 4 times by the Yankees?
Remember his Miller Lite commercials?
Yes.
I remember those from the 70s and the 80s. He's not still alive, is he?
No, he's passed.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, but yeah, that was... that is, as a coach, there's so much that goes into what it takes to win. But in wrestling, you're right, though. That was the thing with Zaleski. They just quit attacking. They wrestled not to lose.
They did.
And that just wasn't the Iowa mindset. And Zaleski, he was a 3-time national champion, one of the greatest wrestlers ever.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Yeah. Gable just had an amazing ability to motivate his guys and to get his guys to believe that they were going to win because they were better and they were better prepared and in better condition. His guys went on that mat thinking they were going to win.
Well, both he and Cale Sanderson are examples of great generational wrestlers and best coaches.
Yeah, good coaches.
Yep.
And it seems that happens more in wrestling than other sports. I mean, John Smith, one of the greatest.
Right.
It seems like wrestling And now you got David Taylor. They say he's the next rising phenom coach, another great wrestler. It seems like it happens way more in wrestling than it does in other sports. Because I'm trying to think right now of all the head coaches in the NBA, who was a former star. There's been, like Nate McMillan.
There's been a few.
There's been a few, but there haven't been like the phenoms. I mean, Larry Bird coached for a while and was pretty good.
Phil Jackson.
And, yeah, but he was not a star player by any
No.
means. He was an okay player. I'm talking about
Don Nelson.
Okay. Don Nelson was not an NBA star. He was good, but I'm talking Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, guys like that, Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal, guys that were that good. Not many of them turned out to be. I mean, Steve Kerr is a great coach, and he was a good three-point shooter in the NBA, but he was no NBA phenom. It's weird, though. In wrestling, it seems like the better you were as a wrestler, sometimes it makes you better as a coach. Whereas in the other sports, it seems like just the opposite. But weird sports. Each sport is unique in its own way.
This is true. So let's see. Basketball recruiting continues. There's just it's kind of a dead period right now for some. They come up with these little week-long dead periods.
I'm not even seeing lists right. Oh, this guy has got Iowa as one of his 47 schools he's heard from since entering the portal. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, there's not much of that going on. They're getting close to getting their roster.
They are,
out.
but this could also go into June. I mean, it doesn't have to be over anytime soon, and he's being patient and selective, and he needs, to me, another point guard and a big guy. That's what he needs. I really think they need another point guard.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, God forbid Bennett Sturts gets hurt. With the current roster they have now, who is the point guard?
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know either. So, but
who was the backup point guard at Drake that never played?
Yeah, well, I don't know. So, but yeah, that's
probably who it is.
And I'm sure. That would either be Cale Combs, who's not. Obviously, it wasn't Tavian Banks or Manwood. They weren't.
No.
And I don't know. I don't think right now they really have a backup point guard. So it will be interesting to see what they do to address that. And like I said, they need another big guy. I think if they could get another post player. But we'll see. There's still time, and he's got 10. He's been doing it gradually. And it'll be interesting. I wonder if he's got a home yet. I wonder if he's decided what school his kids are going to. There's so much that he's going through right now. Think about it. And he's basically been living in transition he was in Des Moines for a year, barely gets settled in Des Moines. Now he's gone again. That's a lot of moving for a guy who didn't move anywhere for 15 years.
Wasn't he isn't he staying at one of the motels here in Iowa City during the?
I heard you at the Motel 6 out on
on First Avenue.
He's staying at the Iowa Lodge. Don't you guys call
Alexis Park Inn?
What's is Iowa
Hell's Waiting Room?
Yeah, he's staying in Hell's Waiting Room.
Well, it's convenient. It's close to the facility.
Is Alexis Park? Is that the one on the way out to the airport?
Yes.
Okay. What's that known for?
Good hourly rates.
Good hourly rates. All right. I doubt he's staying there.
Murder. There's that on top of it.
It looked like they showed Caitlin leaving the hotel. It looked like they were staying. Were they staying at the Graduate?
I believe they were.
Okay.
I believe they were.
Yeah, because they showed her walking out of the sliding glass doors with his cameras all. It's like the Beatles.
Now, if Ben and his wife have bought a house in Iowa City, now I bet the dude would probably know.
Yeah.
Because he keeps track of that.
And if he knew, I'm guessing he would have called in.
Although he's more commercial, I think.
And maybe that's something he doesn't think we should know if he's been told don't say anything.
Could be true.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's looking for a home. It'll be interesting. I'm guessing, okay.
Unless they commute from Des Moines.
Coralville or East Iowa City?
I'm all for East Iowa City.
I am too, but I bet he picks Coralville.
Yeah.
That seems to be where most people. I love East Iowa City. We're starting to get a few more restaurants. We are starting to get a few.
We are.
I mean, just up by where you live, within walking distance, you have a great pizza place and Kraken.
Kraken's and Wigan Penny East.
And little slices of pizza from Spray the Grillmore. You can always go that route if you want to. Do you ever eat Ray's Pizza?
I have not.
Okay. They're, I think, $1. It's actually for frozen pizza. It ain't bad. It ain't bad.
I'll try it.
As long, but when I ate, the last one I ate there, Ray told me after I ate it that he had put the pizza in his armpit, and that didn't help.
It's quite a selling point.
But he waited till after I'd eaten it.
Hello.
Hey, I think the Fever was staying at the Chauncey.
Oh, were they?
I don't even. What's the Chauncey?
Yeah, well, when they showed all the footage of them coming out, that was the door you used to go into film scenes.
Oh,
so I think they were at the Chauncey.
I think you're
Now,
right.
where's the Chauncey?
It's just down by the rec center.
It's the corner of Gilbert and Washington.
Yeah, it's where the new bowling alley is.
Oh,
and all
okay,
that.
okay.
Oh, wait, no, Gilbert and College. I'm sorry, Gilbert and College.
Okay.
Yeah.
And film scenes there.
Parking lot.
Spare Me is there.
Police station right across the street.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for
Thanks,
clearing that
Ian.
up.
Thanks, Wrangler.
You bet.
The Chauncey,
Bye.
the Graduate. Whatever happened to the best westerns?
Plastics.
Whatever happened to the best westerns and the Ramada Inns?
Holiday Inn. Yeah.
Well, they're still out there.
I
Best
know.
Western's still out there. Aren't they Best Western Plus?
Something like that.
Like Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah. Well, those are nice hotels.
Yeah,
for the
they
most
are.
part.
No, they are. I've stayed in a lot of Holiday Inn Express. I like Drury Inns
I do too.
because they're relatively new. They didn't come out until the early 90s, so a lot of the rooms are still somewhat and decently priced.
And if you're interested, they give you 2 free drinks at their.
Yeah, I think Drury Inn I always used to like Hampton Inns too. But
And
no,
they had a buffet.
Drury Inn would probably be my choice of choices because it's not high end, but it's certainly not. It's not.
No, it's nice.
Stains,
Nice enough.
Stains Anonymous either.
Yeah.
Hampton Inns had the breakfast buffet. That was always good.
Yeah, they were. Man, I've stayed in a lot of different hotels.
I'll bet you have.
A lot of different hotels over the years. Got some fun stories, some horror stories.
Me too.
A lot of stains, blood. Have you seen a lot of stains in your day?
Afraid so.
Yes, I've seen a lot
I'm
of
sure
stains.
you have as a touring band. I'm
Yeah.
sure
The
you
best was the one in Bloomington where I call, hey, there's blood all over the bed. The guy's like, oh, okay, we'll send it. He didn't seem phased. Yeah, hey, don't worry about it. We'll get that taken care
Yeah,
of.
probably after you're gone, but okay, thanks.
Yeah, so they came down and they changed the sheets. And the other hotel, it was also in Bloomington, I believe. They didn't have the heat on when we checked in, and it was cold because it was the end of football season. And they're like, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to turn it on now. Why don't you maybe go get yourself a bite to eat or something, let the room warm up. So here I was paying for a room that they told me to leave because they hadn't turned the heat. It was just strange, but weird situations happen at hotels sometimes.
They do.
Yeah, I was a night auditor at a hotel for a few years. I know there's a lot of.
And wasn't Ray a night clerk? Didn't he get robbed?
I
I think
so.
he did
Yeah.
at the Canterbury, which is now. What are they putting there now at the Canterbury? Are they building something there, or is it still just a vacant lot?
I think it's still vacant with a big for sale sign.
Yeah, there's
on
a
it.
lot of for sale signs, man. Have
There
they
are.
on the corner of First Avenue and Lower Muscatine? They still haven't gotten anything for that Deli Mart, have they? Is it still for
Nope,
sale?
it's still for sale. For sale or lease, I think.
And I noticed the old Come and Go on Mormon Trek at the bottom of the hill there by Benton. It's for sale.
Yeah, it's been sitting there for years
There's
now.
a ton of stuff that's just sitting there.
Yep.
It's amazing that didn't make it.
I know. Maybe it just
It
because
got a little rough in that area, though.
Yeah,
I
there
know
was
there's a lot of crime in that area.
there was a lot of robberies.
There was a lot of robberies, and I don't think that
Because of
helps.
the Pheasant Ridge.
And not
Well,
not
yeah.
just the customers. Sometimes the
Just a lot
employees.
of apartments and stuff around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey, dude.
Hey.
Hey, yeah, the Canterbury got bulldozed a long time ago.
Yeah. Because it caught fire, did it not?
Yeah, sure.
So now,
And-
so now
No,
it's
I'm
just
thinking,
for
I'm sorry,
sale,
I was
right?
thinking of the Super 7.
What'd you say, Suter?
What did I say?
You said now the land is for sale.
For sale or lease?
Oh, yeah.
No, for
the
sale.
land is for sale. Basically, the insurance adjuster was saying that the property was damaged 49%, and the hotel owner was saying 51% was a loss because he was hoping that they would recover the entire building cost. But yeah, even though the insurance company won, they tore everything down, and those two deli marts are going to be sitting there for a long time because Casey's put a deed restriction on them, and they put a price on them that nobody's going to pay.
Oh, really?
Why was Casey's able to do that? They own it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Casey's bought the
They
5
bought all the
remaining locations.
That's right. Okay, and then the Arby's out there on First Avenue, it is shut down too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Gandhi.
What's
Yep.
that?
It's gone. Yep.
So what's going to happen with that?
That'll be incorporated into part of the new medical towers. So there'll be another tower that matches the existing medical tower.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Later.
Right.
Thanks, dude.
That was a big stop for travelers because it's right off the highway.
Oh, I used to go to that. I mean, I like Arby's.
I do too.
I've always liked Arby's.
I do too. I go to Arby's every now and then.
I used to go there a lot after press conferences. If I'm going back, I'd get on, to get onto the freeway. I'd stop at Arby's and.
I mean, their roast beef sandwiches
they're
are reasonable.
Their French dips were really good.
And their deli sandwiches were awesome too. I don't know if they still sell them or not. Actual sandwiches piled high with meat.
I don't know that they do.
Yeah,
but because I generally just get the roast beef.
Yeah.
I tried their new ham sandwiches and it was okay.
Hot ham and cheese sandwiches, you can't beat them. I don't care who sells them. So. But that was and they closed that up quick. I mean, it was there and then it was gone. And it took forever to get Perkins back up and running. Remember, it was like
it sure did.
2.5 years or something.
Yeah,
like
it did
that.
take a long time
because COVID was going on at the time, I think, or it was in the middle of it somewhere when it caught fire, and then they just took their sweet time getting it back up, and it's thriving again.
I did notice there's where Touchdown Wings used to be. There's a new Japanese place.
Yeah, there is.
Fuji something.
Fuji Grill.
Have you tried it?
No.
I like some Japanese food. I'll give it a try sometime. I mean,
Amy does.
I gave Touchdown Wings a try twice, and their wings were fine. But I also went there one time for fish, and it was not good.
Anne didn't like their fish.
And it was white fish, which I normally would like. I mean, it just didn't work for me.
I thought their wings were fine.
Yeah, they were fine. I thought their wings were fine. And but that's the other thing. I can make wings at home for myself that are just as good.
Yeah.
And cheaper. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that place can make it. I mean, Jimmy Jack's has been there for a long time.
Yes, it has.
And I like their food. I just haven't been there for a while. Have you been there for a while?
I tend to go to Pops when I do that.
But I like both those places.
Yeah.
I like Jimmy Jack's and I've had
And
Pops.
I like Wildwood, too.
Yeah, I do, too. Yeah, I like all those places.
Yeah, we're blessed with those two
And
places.
I like Jethro's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Jethro's
Jethro's, too. I'm not a huge barbecue sauce fan. I got to be in the mood for it.
I don't like
I got to be in the mood for it. But there's times where if I have a choice between putting something on chicken, it's going to be different spices as opposed to barbecue sauce. That's just, I like Lowry's and what have you.
Yeah, like a rub.
I got to be in the mood for barbecue. Like ribs, if I'm in the mood for ribs, I love them, but it's not always I'm in the. Sometimes they get a little overwhelming.
Well, ribs, they vary so much because if they're real hard, I don't know if what the right word is.
No,
they
get chewy.
Chewy,
yes.
They're a little tough.
And I don't like beef ribs. I got to eat pork ribs.
And if they're too tough, then I just don't like them.
That's why you do them in the crock pot, and then
Yes.
you do them in the crock pot low for about 4 or 5 hours. Then the last 45 minutes, you put them in the oven to put a little bark around it, and that's the best way to do ribs.
You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, the crock pot, and because I don't like them to be gooey either. That's why you put them in the oven for like 45 minutes after the crock pot, and that'll create like a little bark on the exterior. of the rib.
tried to do ribs.
Well, remember when I brought them out to the state fair, or not to the Johnson County Fair?
Yeah.
You guys, those were done in a crock pot.
And they were good.
But I didn't do the bark thing yet. Yeah, remember that lady ate almost all of them? Because I could only make so much because I only had one crock pot, and but yeah, ribs is another thing. I don't do it a lot because right now I live by it's just I don't need to eat. I don't need to eat a slab of ribs by myself. I'd rather if I were to do that, I'd rather eat a piece.
Not that you can't.
I'd rather eat pizza than a slab of ribs.
I would too.
I'm guessing a slab of ribs probably has more calories with all the fat and everything on there.
Sure.
Than a thing of pizza, especially a thin pizza.
Now, my daughter helps run Famous Dave's in Davenport, and they slow cook their ribs.
I like their stuff.
I've never eaten at Famous Dave's,
You know
and
what's
I've always
funny?
wanted to.
There's so many good barbecue sauces out there, and I was thinking about this the other day. The one that I find myself going to more and more now, old-fashioned open pit, came out in 1953.
Yep.
It's less than $3. I think it's the best tasting barbecues. I think it's underrated.
That's what we grew up on.
And it says America's Pitmaster's Choice. Have you ever had open pit, Tom?
I don't know. I don't like sweet barbecue.
It's not sweet. It's more tangy. It's at the bottom of the shelf.
Yep.
And it's literally like $2.53. And it's been around since 1953.
Yeah, well, like I said, we grew up with that.
And so did my dad used it a lot too. But
and chicken.
try open pit sometime. Stubbs and open pit are my favorite, but Stubbs is like 3 times more expensive.
I tend to not be a sauce guy in general. I like buffalo sauce, and that's about
Yeah, I'm not a
it is.
huge sauce guy, but when I'm doing barbecue, I usually go open pit.
Hello.
Yeah, guys, go to Memphis.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been there.
And yeah, they have.
And I ate barbecue when I was there.
I did too. There's a couple good rib places. We like,
Yep.
what's the name of not Windy City.
You got a prayer in Memphis. Wasn't that Mark Cohen?
Yeah.
No, on Beale Street you're talking.
Yes, Beale Street's
There you
great.
go.
I hear B.B. King's is a little overrated.
Agreed.
Long story. We parked in front of the Baptist church. This dude took us all over the city. We took Martin. Oh, the guy that got shot.
Martin Luther King?
Yeah, we went through that museum and.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Pretty amazing.
Yeah, he grew up there and he was sleeping behind the Baptist church.
Have you seen the balcony where he got shot?
So damn dirty.
Been on it.
Yeah.
I tipped him $40. Well,
good for you.
Yeah, God, we were all over the sports map today, weren't we?
Yep. It's Monday.
Hey.
It's Monday.
It's okay.
How about the Zalewskis and the Lisbon wrestlers and
Yeah. Tough boys.
Todd Gable and all the Waterloo boys with Harold Nichols.
Yep.
Well, we hadn't talked about Harold Nichols until you brought it up, but I did think about him.
But he's Iowa State. You don't like Iowa State.
Kurt Meyer.
But I sure know him. Know of him.
Gary Kurtelmeyer, yep.
Sure. How about Dave McCuskey?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Old Mac.
Yep.
Well, good drifting today.
All right.
All right, man.
Good hearing from you.
You have a good day, Paul.
I'm John.
Okay, John. Or Ringo.
Ringo. All right.
Go for some music.
Yeah?
You know, if Captain was here, you know what he would have said by now?
What?
Yeah, I know. I know.
What are you saying, Paul?
No, I'm not banned.
You're reading my mind?
It's only his first call.
No, he wouldn't. No, he would say Tom Waits sucks to try to get under your skin. He wouldn't ban you. He's not going to ban you.
Talk about something.
Yep, he ain't going to ban you.
No, probably not.
No. You've earned a lifetime of calls.
Well, I got work to do.
All right.
Get cracking.
Have a good day.
Well, go mow your yard, Pat.
I did it 2 days ago. I don't have to. It's good.
But it won't be long.
No, it's about every 4 days now.
Let the sun shine.
Aren't we not going to have some rain for a while? We're fine.
It's going to be dry for a week.
Yeah, we need some dry now. We've had enough rain, don't you think?
I agree.
Yeah, definitely summer-like weather. Mid to upper 70s.
That's fine. I'm ready for 70s.
Yeah.
The birds are breeding, the rabbits.
Everyone's breeding.
Oh,
Everyone's breeding but me.
I'll go on that one.
All right.
All right, thanks, man.
Paul, did you like, there was about a 6-second, did you like that one?
Yeah.
We didn't know where it was going to go, and those are the best ones.
No, you let Paul...
It's not really an uncomfortable silence with him.
No.
It's
No.
more of a philosophical
Yeah,
silence.
we're all collecting our thoughts and anticipating the next words that are said.
So now, back to Caitlin briefly. She did say, she said, I hope that we do this every year.
Right. Well,
what do you think?
I mean, why not? If she still wants to, sure, why not?
Oh, it'll sell out every single time.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Especially if they end up having a great season this year.
Yeah.
I mean, if they end up like getting to the finals or winning it or whatever, no, that'll just add to her legend. I think they're going to be. I'm not ready to crown them as the champion, but they're going to be pretty good. They did some really good off-season acquisitions.
So much better team.
I mean, Dewana Bonner is huge addition to that team. Her length on defense, her ability to shoot threes, she can post up. I thought that was their key addition this offseason.
And Howard's a good,
She's a
solid
good one too.
piece as well.
Yep, and
Sophie.
She can defend and she can shoot, but no, Dewana Bonner to me was the key. Getting her was huge. She's in her 15th year in the league.
Yeah,
incredible.
I watched the game Saturday, and Sophie Cunningham was just great, and she's a rattlesnake. I really like her a lot.
Did you see the tweet? The Fever had a tweet of Sophie and the other blonde,
Lexi.
Yeah, and their arms wrapped around each other, and they're super tan. And Caitlin tweets underneath it, "Less tanning, ladies, more basketball." I thought it was so perfect, Caitlin.
Yeah,
you know, and because if you notice, Caitlin could be tan if she wanted to be. She's Italian, but you know she doesn't spend a lot of time tanning because I think she's just so obsessed with her improving her game. But that was such. I laughed when I saw that.
That's
she
funny.
of course was joking, you know. But I said less tanning, ladies, It was funny. But no, that was a cool. Dallas got there 4 hours before tip-off. I was going to make fun of him, but then I got to thinking, he's having a good time. He's excited. So why should I make fun of him?
Well, and the lines were, at least 2 hours ahead of time, maybe more. The lines were just huge to get in, and they already have their tickets. What are they going to do?
So are they worth being made fun of a little bit, maybe?
Well, I guess if you're coming from Arizona and spending $500 a seat, I'd get there early too.
Well, yeah, and you want to get your Carver cone.
Okay, but why do you have? If your seat's already reserved, you can get there and pay. But why do you have to get in line to get to the door? It doesn't.
Because they don't open until a certain time.
Well, I know, but your seat's going to be there regardless when you.
That's not
I
why
could
they're
see
there
if it was
early.
like the Who concert in Cincinnati or something like that.
But that's not why they're there early. They're there to soak up the atmosphere and
of standing in line. See, that's where you lose me a little bit. Soak up the atmosphere of standing in line. That's like waiting in line to watch Jaws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I did back in 1975. That's the only line I've really ever stood in besides a roller coaster line.
I hate standing in
Stood
lines.
in line for American Graffiti when it came out and the first Star Wars.
Yeah,
Actually,
just Jaws.
It's one of the first people to see the second Star Wars because they had an 11 o'clock Friday matinee in North Park Mall in Davenport, and I think there was like 8 of us there.
Well, I'll never forget the line at Merle Hay Theater to see Jaws. I was like 11. I was 10 or 9. I went with my sister, and I remember we parked, and I remember her telling me that's the line, and we did. We waited, and like I said, and other than a couple roller coaster rides I waited on, I just am not a line person.
I'm not either, but I can tell you that I waited in a real long line to see Hard Day's Night.
I'm sure.
And that was way cool.
That's one thing that killed me on Disney World I was a teenager when I went there, but I don't never want to go back and stand in line all that time to ride a ride.
So was that general admission though? The better early you get into the arena, you get a better seat, or was your seat reserved?
General admission?
Yeah, that's
for
the only
sure.
thing I was wondering why they line up now. Because to me, you'd have more fun soaking up the experience by kind of maybe hanging out in the parking lot as opposed to just standing in line.
Do we have a call? Hello?
I think we do.
Good morning, gentlemen.
I'm sorry.
Hi, John.
I forgot all about you.
It was like a rock concert yesterday, and
It
we
was.
got there. Probably there was 15 minutes till tip off, but there was a long line to get in because they were checking. They were checking you for. In case, I'm sure they were checking for if there was anything that untoward you might be carrying with you. But it was a spectacle beyond belief, and I hope they do it again. I mean, the game was irrelevant for that matter. I mean, there was no question about who was the better team, but you could certainly tell Caitlin's influence on this program because great passing by all the players. I mean, that just seems to be she has brought that to this team and the league, I think. But it was a great. You could tell her teammates really embraced her totally after the game.
And I loved that when they were announcing the starting lineups, that all of the Fever starters got great ovations.
Yes. I have never seen so much Fever paraphernalia in my life. We tried to find some, went to Shields, and we couldn't find anything. But man, because we're going to Indianapolis May 17th to see that game, and good Lord, I'd like to have some. But it was spectacular. I thought just the whole atmosphere.
I think
Caitlin mentioned that there were more Fever shirts than Hawkeye shirts.
Yeah,
I think that's right. I had my Caitlin sweatshirt on. It was a little warm to say the least, but I could care less.
Yeah, did it get hot in there by the end of the game?
It did.
It was warm. Yes, it was warm. So thankfully, it wasn't too warm outside that day. But yeah, it was a great atmosphere, and I hope they do it again. I mean, they draw a sellout. No ifs.
Oh, absolutely. And I would be one of them.
Yeah, no question, Tom. It was when she made that shot though from behind.
Ridiculous.
Her logo shot. That place was up for grabs.
I can't believe. I mean, I know she made it before, but I still can't believe that shot went in because you just kind of didn't expect it to.
No. Well, and obviously she was playing with a minor injury too, and I give her lots of credit for playing. And but yeah, they've got. I think like you said, Pat, they've added some really great parts, and as long as they stay healthy,
they got a chance.
Yeah,
I think they've got a legitimate chance, and they got a very good coach. So yeah,
it's fun to watch. I mean, that WNBA is they've gone up in my estimation too. I never used to really watch them until she got on board.
No, me neither. But I'm a fan now.
Well, I don't watch without Caitlin. I'm not that much of a fan yet. If it's Caitlin's not playing, I'm not watching. Now, if there's Megan Gustafson or another, that'll catch my attention.
And I did watch Lucy.
But I'm like that with the NBA when it comes to like LeBron. If it's not LeBron or Kevin, I don't find myself watching very much.
Yeah, Lucy didn't help her cause any Saturday.
What did she do?
That didn't help, did it?
She was 1 for 6, no assists, no rebounds, and missed a game-winning layup. And didn't play great defense.
Okay, other than that, though, she was okay?
Other than that,
she was on fire. Was it an uncontested layup or was it in traffic?
It was it's a layup she's made 1,000 times in her life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's. Yeah, I think she's pressing a little bit.
Maybe.
I don't know how much pressure she's under to make the roster.
Probably a lot.
Yeah,
that's it. Make the roster as much as anything.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Although with Georgia Amor going down with her torn ACL, that's
Are you sure? Oh, the point guard.
Yeah.
From Kentucky.
Yeah.
Wow, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, Virginia Tech to Kentucky.
Yeah, Virginia Tech to Kentucky. Yeah, that's too bad.
You know, Caitlin took some falls yesterday too, and I just was reminiscing, thinking, "Oh my God, I hope one of these days you just hope she doesn't sustain something."
Well, that's the thing you always worry about, and so far,
of course, when she was a freshman, she was spent more time on the ground, I think, than she did.
She's very durable.
You're right.
She is.
Well, she's obviously stronger this year, gentlemen. You can tell.
Yeah,
that.
you can tell that. Yep.
But well, great show, fellas. It was a great day yesterday.
It was, John. I agree with. Did you buy? Oh, you only got there 15 minutes ahead of time.
Well, I got there. I knew I wasn't going to get a Carver cone. My God, some people are going to miss a quarter of the game for Christ's sake. I mean, it's just nuts. They need to find a way to do more. I got a Diet Coke in one of the other lines, so I did get a refreshment. But normally I get a Carver cone, but I get there early to do that too. So
whoever came up with the idea to have the beer garden in the west entrance, that was just cool. It was.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Well, fellas, it was a great day. And then, she's the gift that keeps on giving to Iowa basketball for sure. That's we just can't get enough of her, and it was fun to see all the Iowa players, current day players that were there, and then Gabby Marshall she came back. So,
she did. It was good. Always good to see Gabby.
Yep. Well, gentlemen, have a great day, and go Celtics, go Yankees. Yankees are dead. I'm already planning them.
Wow.
Well,
no, the White Sox are dead.
Out. They're done. And what's his name? Stanton. He gets a hangnail. He's on the disabled list for 60 days. God, he's terrible.
Well, you can always get on the Cubs bandwagon if you like.
No, I don't think.
Oh, come on!
I've got enough. I got enough friends that are Cub fans.
All right, I guess Dodgers it is then.
No, can't do the Dodgers. That's Rex's team. We got to go toe to toe.
All right. Have a good day.
Have a great day.
Yep.
See you later.
Well, is there anything else?
End of the Yankees already. Wow.
Yeah, that's.
I think we've covered everything. Culinary, sports-wise, philosophically. I think we've done it all.
It didn't talk about hardly any music at all.
No.
Which is, Tom Waits.
New baseball rankings are out. Oregon's up to 5th. UCLA's 18th, and USC's 25th. So,
okay.
Of course, no Iowa.
Is there a RPI list? I don't know.
Last I saw Iowa, I think there were 73, something like that.
And therein lies our problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. But there's still opportunities to improve it. But
yes,
you can't lose series. They just had an opportunity to really improve it, and they didn't. They lost 2 out of 3 games.
Hello.
I wish the WNBA was on about the time college basketball got over. It just seems like it's hard to find something to watch in midwinter, and I don't really like the NBA.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not an NBA guy either, so no, I hear you. I agree with you.
I mean, I wish NASCAR started in December and went through the winter. That'd be, you'd have to race down south all the time, but I don't know. There's a slump for me and my TV come midwinter.
Yeah.
Well, there is programming out there that isn't sports.
You can, like, enlighten your mind or something. Back in the day.
Hunter, what you laughing at?
They're back in the day. The Super.
I try to watch a lot of series, but it's the WNBA is so exciting, and I just hate to be inside this time of year. But that was just amazing yesterday.
So, do you watch games that don't involve Caitlin?
I will watch a few other Iowa players, and I'm kind of keeping an eye on that Angel Reese, see how good she really is. Don't care for her, but
she ain't one of the top players. I'll tell you that much.
Well, she thinks she is.
Yes, but she isn't.
Yeah. She's hurt. She's hurt in the WNBA. I
don't know about that, but she's not Caitlin Clark.
It's just amazing how good she is.
Yep.
I don't know. Well, guys.
All right. Thanks for the call, man.
Take care.
Yep.
Okay.
We done?
And a NASCAR reference,
NASCAR starting in December.
Well, it ends in
November. So, there wouldn't be much of a break for them. All right, well, thanks for listening, everybody.
All right. Molly Suter is next. Hawkfanatic.com. Check it out. It's free.
At the Oxio